Hello and welcome to Dark Thoughts of Hope. This is Teresa Foley. Today I'm going to read a small excerpt from my book. It's called Made a Horrible Mistake. On the morning of March 14th, 2015, I lost a piece of my heart. I remember the phone call as if I had received it yesterday. The words my aunt spoke over the line couldn't have been more traumatizing. "Matt's dead. He killed himself," she said. With those words, my world fell apart around me. Soon after my cousin's death, I'm ashamed to admit I felt incredibly resentful. As much as I tried, I couldn't understand what led him to such a painful conclusion. Gradually, I came to realize that he had been struggling with mental illness. Had he been healthy and received the treatment he needed, I believe he would not have made this decision. After sustaining 2 traumatic head injuries, his mental and physical health had been compromised. For a long time, I blamed myself for his death. How did I not know that he was suffering? Why didn't I call him more? The night he died, I tried to call my cousin. A few friends and I were headed to a bonfire in the woods. Remember in the summer before when we tromped through those same woods, I reached for my phone to call him. For some reason, I couldn't find his number. Not giving it a second thought, I resolved to call his mother in the morning for his number. By the time I spoke to my aunt, it was too late. Dealing with his death took its toll on me. While there is no time limit on grief, I found myself unable to heal. Over time, my family tired of hearing me talk about my cousin, so I began covering up my heartache. Not knowing who I could turn to, I slowly spiraled downward into a depression. I threw myself into my work and began to play the role of a happy individual, putting others' well-being before my own, but I ignored the fact that I hadn't been myself in a long time. After almost 4 years of putting up this facade, my world came crumbling around me one night at work. I don't remember much of what happened, but I do remember the delusions that I suffered. In each one, a family member took their own life. I even remember sweeping the floors at work while talking to myself in a state of delirium. All of my suppressed grief, it seemed, took the form of a mental health episode. Eventually, the police and an ambulance arrived. Waking up the next evening in the hospital, I remember being scared and confused. My first thought was that I needed to act normal to avoid commitment to a mental health facility. After spending 36 hours under surveillance, I was given pamphlets for a few mental health treatment centers and released. Fearing another breakdown, I decided to pursue the support I needed. Asking for help allowed me to finally deal with my unresolved grief. And it's honestly the truth. Compared to when my cousin first took his life to now, almost 10 years later, I don't blame myself anymore. Writing this book, putting myself in his shoes, really opened up to what it would take for me to come to that conclusion. Not that I ever would, but I could see how someone could just feel so hopeless. If you're feeling hopeless, please know that you're not alone, and there are so many texts to call, crisis lines, and websites. The most important one that I know is 988. Or you can go to americansforsuicideprevention.org and you can seek help there as well. If you're listening to this, please know you're not alone.